I love old houses. I grew up in an old Victorian house when I was a child. Unfortunately, it was leveled to the ground by the bank who bought it in 1984. I grew up in a beautiful Victorian house which needed a lot of work in the 70s, which my parents could not afford. So it was never upgraded. So it always looked like a sad house. And in the winters we used plastic on the windows, so we'd be warmer, because they're very tall windows. But that's where I spent most of my childhood. And out in the backyard, there was a Japanese maple tree on the border of the neighbor's yard. And when I was 3 or 4 years old, it had limbs that I could climb, and it was probably the lowest limb was probably 2 feet off the ground, and I would climb and just stand there in the tree limb, thinking that I was a princess or on a beautiful ship, or I was always on some sort of adventure. And in the summer evenings I would race outside with my little glass jar. It happened a couple of times in my life. And the neighbor's yard was huge, and it had pine trees, and you could just see the fireflies, and I'd catch them and then I'd let them go. Or if one would rest on your hand for a few moments, you just watch it glow and glow. But 7ANBY, Mike, just reminded me of that with his video called The Cricket. And I don't know, I think we're kindred spirits. We're friends in another life. But I wrote a poem called Minnow. And I'd like to recite it. Minnow, I am your yellow string bean, 8 years old with a pixie cut. My summer sublets every freckle, ice-cold water quickly drunk from the bathroom faucet, legs racing down the back stairs, bell jar full of fireflies, the night air enveloped in the thick songs of crickets. I am your silverfish, your minnow racing downstream, and you, void of a net, just let me go. It's kind of has some truth in that. You know, when I was a child, I could go out. You didn't have to come back until the sunset. And now, unfortunately, with the world the way it is, it's hard to let children go and let them play. And so we were very lucky. I was very lucky. This poem is called Polaris, and Polaris is the North Star. But it is about my childhood house. Wind took the house. She said it herself. But years left it standing in the halls of her thoughts. In her dreams she often went home. It was very quite simple, nodding chin, and suddenly everything fell into place. There are souls with vacant eyes. You think inside their minds they are aboard their own master ships, sailing northboard home, their charts brilliant and unbounding. Well, it's my thoughts about home and crickets and bell jars and poetry.